Hello class. I'm sorry if my room may seem a little messy. I did not feel like cleaning up my room to record this last finished part of my project, so just bear with me. You guys aren't going to see this the whole video. But this is basically my end of the year project. I did a mix between The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks and my What I Live For essay. Henrietta Lacks was basically about Henrietta Lacks having cancer and kind of like the effects of her cancer on the outside world, how it affected the world as a whole and how it affected her family basically. So this video is dedicated to my grandmother and my father, two people in my life who had the misfortune of having cancer. And this is kind of like a video on how them having cancer affected my family all together. The video is like different viewpoints from different people on how cancer had affected them. And yeah, my What I Live For essay, I talked about I live for my family. So you guys will see my family through the video. And this is just like an introduction, so just keep watching and I hope you all enjoy. My grandmother did everything for us when she was staying with us, and that was really like my mother. And I just love her so much, and to see her have to deal with cancer and have to be in agonizing pain was very hard for me to watch. The first time my grandmother had breast cancer, I don't really remember a lot about it because I was really little. I just know that my grandmother lived 6 hours away and how we had to bring her to Maryland because my mother wanted her to go to Johns Hopkins. The second time when her cancer came back is I was older. I was able to understand more of what was happening, and I was really able to see how it really hurt my grandmother. My grandmother could not move. She would just lay in the bed all day. She couldn't eat anything. She didn't want to eat or drink anything. She was becoming very, very weak, and I did what I could. It wasn't really a lot I could do for my grandmother. I remember calling my mom and calling 911, and the ambulance came and they brought her to the hospital. And my grandmother was probably in the hospital for about a week. And it was the day before Thanksgiving, and my dad took me, my brother and sister out to go eat lunch so we could kind of get our mind off of everything. My mother called my phone and said, "You guys need to come to the hospital right now." So my dad drove us to the hospital, and when we got upstairs, before my mom took us into the room to go see my grandmother, she took us into like a small secluded area, and she basically told us that the doctor said that there was nothing else that they could do for my grandmother. Basically, they had drugged her up so that when she did die, that she would die peacefully. And they said that they didn't think that she was going to live past the rest of the week. And when my mom said that to me, my heart really just sunk and just dropped, because my grandmother was such a valuable person in my life, and I never really thought of her not being here with me anymore. And the fact that reality really kicked in for me, and it was really saying to me that grandma may not be here no more, and that when you come home, that grandma isn't coming home with you. And I just remember crying and crying and crying in that little room. And then after my mom finished talking to us, she was going to go bring us into the room to go see my grandmother. And I remember I didn't want my grandmother to see me crying, so I went to the bathroom to go wash off my tears a little bit, and then I was going to come into the room to go see my grandmother. And as I left the bathroom, my grandmother's room was right across the hall, and I opened up the door to my grandmother's room, and I saw her take her last breath as I was walking through the door. And that's when it really kicked in that everything from that very moment on in my life was going to change. And really, everything did really change once my grandmother passed. It was really weird coming home every day because my grandmother used to be downstairs, used to be loud in the house, music used to be playing, and you know, now it was quiet. There was no music playing in the house. My grandmother used to make us little afternoon snacks, and there were no snacks waiting for me when I got home. But nobody in my house knows how to cook. The only person that knew how to cook in my house was my grandmother. So basically, after my grandmother passed, we really just ate all fast foods, and to this day, we all just really eat fast food every night. My grandfather, he tries to do what he can do for us. He tries to make us dinner. He tries to wash our clothes sometimes, but he just can't do it because he just doesn't know how to. Because my grandmother literally did everything for us. She did everything for us. She did everything for my grandfather. So it was like when she died, it was like we really did not know what to do. Me, to this day still, my grandmother died maybe a year and a half ago. And for me to this day, there is really not a time when I really don't think about her. I could be reading a story about somebody else's grandmother and I'll think about my grandmother. I'll see a picture of my grandmother, of somebody's grandmother, and I'll think of my grandmother. Like, literally, my grandmother is so enwrapped around my head that everything I do, everything I think of, like, I think of her. And I've gotten better with, like, not crying as much anymore. There are still those times and those moments where I'll just, like, be sitting on my bed or something, and for some reason, like, she'll just come to my mind, and I cannot sit in my bed and think about her without breaking down and crying. Like, last week, I was thinking about my grandmother, and I could not stop thinking about her without crying because I miss her so much, and I love her so much. And she's not here with me anymore, and I can't talk to her anymore. And I can't tell her how my day was. And I can't ask her how she's doing. She's not here. And I miss her so much. And I know if this is how I act when I think of her, I can't even begin to imagine how my mother feels or how my grandfather feels, because they were even closer to her.
It has affected me because I don't know if Grandma was going to be living or not living. So.
Were you sad when Grandma died?
Yes.
Why were you sad?
I was sad because I was really close to her and she was my weather person. So I did not know when the storm was coming. So that wasn't right.
Me and Grandma always been close, so it's definitely an unfortunate event. Yeah, and it's tough to see anybody go through something like that.
But how has Grandma having cancer affected you?
I guess in the most traumatic way is she's not here anymore. So imagine life, I guess, without your mother, the one person that has always been there, who's known you the longest. She wasn't just my mother, she was my best friend. I spoke to her every day. So to watch her get really sick and really ill and couldn't eat, and actually watch her die was probably the most traumatic thing I've ever gone through in my entire life.
Are there any like specific memories that you have with Grandma that, you know, you just remember over others?
I think because my mom was very raw and uncut. So she said whatever was on her mind, no matter how much profanity was in it, and no matter if it was something that she probably shouldn't say out loud.
Like you?
She just said it, and I so appreciated that about her. But also she had a very kind heart. Like, she would do whatever she could for anyone, no matter how tired or whatever. Even when she came and was living with us, I mean, she would go all out her way to cook and help clean and to help me do stuff, because she felt like I worked so much that she just wanted to do whatever she could to help out. So yeah, I think that was probably my biggest thing. She was always there for everyone, no matter who you are.
Grandma was sick, and whenever you were about to cry, you would go upstairs. So why did you do that?
Because I didn't want to cry in front of her. Because I felt like if she saw me cry, that would hurt her even worse. because she pretty much knew at that point that she was dying. So that's really rough. So I felt like if I was supposed to be the strong one to help her, and if she saw me crying, then I wasn't strong for her anymore. I didn't want her worrying about me. I felt like she had enough to worry about.
How has your life been different?
I mean, I guess in the most significant way, I don't have a mother anymore. You know, when it's Mother's Day, I don't have a mother to call. Me and my mom have the same birthday. So my birthday doesn't mean the same to me anymore because we used to call each other and say happy birthday. It was almost a race to see who could wake up and call each other first to say happy birthday. So I know I have a birthday and I so appreciate the fact that I'm alive to see my birthday, but birthdays just don't mean the same. Things happen. In the past, I would just pick up the phone and call her. And there are times now where I go, oh shoot, let me call mommy. And it's like, oh, I can't. So I don't have that person that I used to call all the time to tell stuff to. And I used to tell my mother everything, no matter how raw it was.
Lonesome, you know. I was sad. I missed her so much, so you know, being around talking with her all the time and being together. I'm a woman girl. I'm you know, all alone now. It was not like that time that it's hard. I know what I want to say, but hard for me to get it together. We used to be together every day, all day practically, every day. But now I think about it, but I don't see her and I don't hear her. We used to travel from New York to West Virginia, and how we to get out in the yard and cut the grass, and we be laughing and playing, talking to each other. The works that we do at the house, build things, trying out different things that see what we can make. That was another part where I really missed her. 'Cause I don't have the partnership no more. I think to her all the time. When it comes to that sickness. Because it's sickness and we're in separation. And that is something I don't think I ever get over.
Okay, so Daddy having cancer affected me because I was really worried because I love my dad and he's very close to me, and I didn't know also if he was gonna die, and so I was really worried about him.
Yeah, it was sad personally that he had cancer. Went through a lot, from surgery, to staples, to chemotherapy, to having to sit in the hospital room, to having to sit in his bed all day, to having to not go nowhere, and to having somebody always have to do something for him. But then it got good because then he could drive again, you know, back to his normal life.
Still just recapped everything.
Couldn't do some things he wanted to do before, like throw a ball. You know, he can't really do that because of his hand-eye coordination is off. He's still mean.
Of course, that affected me too. I've been around Daddy longer than everybody, so it's hard to see somebody that's kind of still young go through that. So it was tough, but I think he went through it well, recovered well, so it's a good outcome.
How has Daddy having cancer affected you?
Outside of my immediate blood family, he was the closest, most significant person to have cancer. And I think in the beginning, it just shocked me because I was like, I just can't believe it. Especially when the doctor said he would lose an eye. I'm like, I have never heard of cancer like that. That's right there, that's affecting your eye. And I just kept imagining what he must feel like or what he's going through to be so young and have to deal with that. So that was rough because then I'm also thinking about you guys, the kids. You know, how it's affecting y'all, how it's affecting him. And then I felt like here I go again dealing with somebody else close with cancer, and I gotta be the strong one and do whatever I can to help, to make sure he's okay. So it's stressful. I think that's why I lost my hair and my eyebrows from all the stress. It's definitely stressful. Making sure and doing his medicine and cleaning his wounds, and Daddy went through a whole lot. So I don't think people realize, unless you are close to the family and know everything he went through. It's actually amazing everything that he went through, and he's out driving and doing everything like nothing ever happened. So I definitely applaud him. That was a lot. In a way, I'm proud of you guys, because I never saw you guys act or treat Daddy differently. And Daddy was really worried when he left the hospital, because he thought he was going to scare you guys by especially the staples and all the wounds in his arms and not having an eye. He thought you guys were going to be scared or look at him strange or treat him strange. And you guys didn't act like what? You still Daddy. Y'all didn't treat him any different. Y'all didn't act weird when I think it was Kendall's graduation, and Daddy didn't have any hair at the time, and he couldn't wear a patch, so you could kind of see some stuff, and y'all still didn't act any different, like y'all were embarrassed or anything. I actually like the patch on Daddy now. Like, so if he doesn't wear the patch, or if he tries to get a prosthetic eye, it's like, just wear the patch. Like, you look nice with the patch. But yeah, I get it. You used to have an eye, so you want another one. So, it is what it is.
Well, my dad found out that he had cancer. I was in the 8th grade. And when my father told us, I took it pretty hard. I was very hysteric, crying a lot. Because I kind of just thought of the worst at first. I didn't think that anything positive was going to come out of that situation at all. Not a lot of people have seen my dad, but for those who have seen my dad wears an eye patch, and the reason for that is because due to cancer, my dad had brain cancer, he had some tumors, and he had cancer in his eye. So my dad had the option of either keeping both of his eyes or removing one of his eyes in the hope that the cancer would not come back. And my dad made the very selfless decision to remove one of his eyes. He removed his right eye, so that in the hopes that cancer would not come back. And that decision for him, it was a lot for him to make that decision. And I don't think my dad realized how much that was gonna affect him than he did when he made it. It's been 3 years basically, and people stare at my dad all the time, look at him like he's crazy. People have called my dad a pirate, and to me, like, that's my dad. Like, regardless of if my dad lost an eye, 2 eyes, a leg, an arm, like, that's always gonna be my dad. Like, I'm always a daddy's girl. Like, I'll do whatever for my dad. I support him through no matter what. And for me to see people look at him and people talk about him, like, that hurts me, because it's like, that's my dad. Like, he's a normal person. I know that for my dad, cancer changed him a lot. And this is in a positive way, really. Like, my dad was very conservative, uptight, and everything before cancer. And I think after his surgery, he was more of like, dang, like, I just came from a 16-hour surgery. My life could have been gone. My life can still be gone today. Like, it's no point in just being so conservative and so uptight. And so my dad normally doesn't listen to rap music and R&B stuff in the car and everything, but that's all my dad listens to now. My dad just be loud and yelling and going crazy. And for me, like, I would have liked the situation to be different. I would have liked something different to happen other than my dad having cancer, to, like, wake him up and realize that, I just need to live life, going through cancer is a pretty tough thing. I know it was really tough for my dad. My dad went through a 16-hour surgery. He had to go through chemo and radiation, and I know that that was a lot because I saw my dad at some of his weakest points. My dad was really, really weak, and he got so skinny, and he just did not seem like the person that he once was. But over time, I have really seen the progression within him, and I just thank God that my dad is still here on earth today, because at any point during that time, or any time still really, my dad's life could have been gone. But my dad is still here, and I'm just so thankful because I love my dad so much.
It affected me physically as a result of my cancer diagnosis. I lost my sense of smell. I also lost my right eye, so that's why I'm wearing this patch. Um, the doctors had to perform surgery for, I was told, about 16 to 18 hours. So I was in the operating room for about 16 to 18 hours. It's been 3 years now since my diagnosis, and I guess I have adjusted to my new normal, which is, having monocular vision. Um, Being able to drive is still something that I'm happy for, and also being able to continue to spend time with my family and loved ones. So that's how it's affected me. Last thing, um, I would say spend time on the small things. Um, don't stress out over things you have no control over, because it's not worth it. So definitely spend time enjoying the moments that you have, because tomorrow is not promised. So spend your time on this earth being friendly to people.
Hi.
So what's your name?
What's your name?
Cameron.
Kevin.
Oh, you know Papa, right?
Papa? What?
You like Papa?
Papa?
Do you like Papa?
Bye.
You got too much stuff in your hands. Come here.
Oh, just smile. Say cheese.